Corporate Affairs at Vodafone Australia. Thank you so much for coming along this morning, and thank you very much for trusting us that this is going to be an event worth being at. Just a couple of things before we get started. I'm sure you will invite some of our colleagues and business partners onto the stage. We're going to do a presentation, and then we will have an opportunity at the end for Q&A. Just two ground rules, and please ask that you respect these. The first of which is no photographs. First of all, to respect the privacy of some of the individuals involved, but secondly, we're going to be showing some very sensitive detail of some network architecture, which is highly commercially confidential, so please no photographs. And then second, when you see who I'm about to introduce, you might be tempted to jump to some conclusions. Just give us a few minutes to explain exactly what we're announcing today, and just be careful of leaping to your conclusions or your Twitter account too quickly. So if I could just invite some of my colleagues and business partners onto the stage. We have the CEO of Vodafone Australia, Iñaki Berroeta, the CTO of Vodafone Australia, Benoit Hansen, and then from our business partners, TPG, we have the Executive Chairman, David Teo. We have the General Manager of Enterprise and Wholesale, Mark Rafferty, the Chief Operating Officer, Craig Levy, and the CFO, Stephen Banfield. Thank you all very much indeed. And I'll hand over to Iñaki Berroeta, the CEO of Vodafone Australia, to kick us off. Thank you, Iñaki.
So good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us this morning. Today I'm very pleased to announce two major agreements. For those of you that got up early thinking that this is a merger and acquisition, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But this is a very exciting news, I think, of two very big companies reaching two significant commercial agreements to put the synergies working together. One, a fixed specialist, TPG, and Vodafone as a mobile specialist. Let me give you a little bit of detail. So the first agreement relates to a dark fiber transmission project where Vodafone has selected TPG to roll out thousands of kilometers of dark fiber, which will connect our network. And then, on the back of this agreement, and also to benefit from Vodafone network and the future of Vodafone network, TPG has also, in a separate agreement, decided to move their mobile customers on MVNO agreement to our network. Why dark fiber? Well, you know that in the last year we have invested over $3 billion to upgrade our network, to make our network what it is today. But also we have always said that we want to continue, we are committed to continue this investment and continue moving our network forward. The last years we rolled out 4G, we deliver carrier aggregation and improve the speeds on our network. We have selected a new core network, a modern core network, and at the same time, very soon, we'll be delivering new services like voice over LTE. But we don't want to stop there. And one thing that is very important for us is to look into the future, look into 5G, and what is needed for our network to be ready for that future. And that's where, about a year and a half ago, our CTO, Benoit Hansen, started talking to different companies to see who was going to be in charge of delivering for us that key infrastructure. And at that time, after a competitive tender process, we selected TPG. We selected TPG because we've been working with them for years in the past. We selected them because they are really the ones that demonstrated best capabilities in this very crucial part of our infrastructure, and we thought that this was a very strong partnership for us, and ultimately the best partner to deliver a better service for our customers in the years to come. 5G will bring customers the benefit of the Internet of Things, much faster speeds, lower latencies, and all that requires a very fast backbone, very fast transmission network between our antennas. Also, the other thing is that We also wanted to, and we see how the speeds in the network are increasing every year. I think we have doubled the speeds in 1 year. We expect, not the speed, sorry, the data volumes. We expect data volumes to probably double every 18 months. And a dark fiber model is also the one that guarantees us to decouple a little bit from the volumes and to have a more manageable cost structure. Let me talk a little bit also about the future and why dark fiber is setting up Vodafone for the future. I said dark fiber allows us to have our own management of this transmission, and that means much faster speeds, much lower latencies, and all these are requirements that later maybe our CTO can explain better. But these are all requirements that allow a 5G network to operate. 5G is still in the beginning, still defining, but we already know how capable it is 5G in terms of speeds, and also how capable in terms of functionality that we bring to the market. And we need to make sure that our, not just the radio side of the network, but also all the transmission is ready to deliver all these services. And without talking anymore, I'm going to invite David to talk about the second part of this presentation, the second agreement, which is the MVNO agreement that TPG will bring their customers onto this Vodafone network. David, please. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm David here. Now, we are very excited, very proud to be part of, the Vodafone business partner. We have been working together for a while, and we have great teams, great people, and it's a lot of fun. I'm sure Benoit would agree. Now, it is very exciting to deliver the fiber services to Vodafone using our own fiber infrastructure around the country. We are very fiber rich, and it will help Vodafone, to enhance their superior network long into the future, as what Iñaki said just now. Now on the MVNO side, we are very excited as well. As Iñaki said, they've invested $3 billion over the last few years, and also they're investing so much on the fiber side. They're serious on the mobile business, and we have full trust on them. So we will bring our mobile business and our customers to the Vodafone network on the 4G super fast network, and we're very excited. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Mark Rafferty is my name. What I wanted to do is to probably sort of go through some of the detail of the actual fibre agreement. This is just a quick snapshot of Sydney, and I'll explain what it means in a minute. This has been about 1.5 years in the making between the teams, and we have had relationships for quite a long time, for multiple services and wholesale relationship between companies. The things where we got together was obviously sort of, as Iñaki was mentioning, the forecasted data growth is in what was required, obviously using 4G, was imperative to have a look at how Vodafone was going to plan for the fibre rollout. And so we started actually looking at what VHA currently utilise the services for and what they forecasted to go forward. What became very apparent was, and I'll show the slide of Sydney, is we had to actually overlay and understand exactly where the VHA antennas and our infrastructure was. So when you look at Sydney and you have a look at the masses and the amount of infrastructure that is in place from Vodafone Australia today, the first thing we did was map it to the fibre infrastructure of TPG. So when you overlay our fibre infrastructure, I think the thing that is very apparent and that we have been promoting for the last couple of years is how much we're investing and how large this infrastructure is. I can sit here today with a lot of comfort that it was very, very clear that us being a dark fibre specialist in Australia, and by far the most experienced at it, and especially with our history in providing services to Vodafone already, is that to enable Vodafone to use this infrastructure to not actually be limited by the legacy technologies and the bandwidth restrictions that it had. So we are rolling out dedicated dark fibre pairs to every tower that's part of this agreement. And what we'll see is the second part is both partners, we're expanding our fibre infrastructure by over 4,000 kilometres, okay, in a very, very detailed joint project schedule that will basically see most of these sites delivered around mid-2018, with services being delivered ultimately as of tomorrow in the next couple of weeks. As we're doing this, when we sort of get the both teams together and both engineers and both network teams, TPG's been investing heavily in infrastructure, and I'll say it again that this is one of our major key differentiators when we are sort of hitting the market, but to basically be able to design a more resilient network for Vodafone. Okay? Not just replace the current design and the point-to-point, so I use Darwin as an example here. This dark fibre is in every state and every territory across the country. Okay? So when we look at the increased resiliency, we had to look into how the current topology worked, and ultimately sort of leveraging our fibre designers into how do we not make anyone's cell completely unreliant on anything else, utilising our national infrastructure and our intercapital backhaul as into how do we actually create resilient rings within each hub site across the country. So it's not only greater speed with more predictability of cost, but we've actually changed the design of the network and how Vodafone will run it. We're very excited about this because this is a true partnership of leveraging each other's skills. So just to recap the transmission as announced to the market this morning, the TPG's capital expenditure for this project is between $300 to $400 million of capital. The construction is starting immediately, but as I said, most sites will be delivered towards mid-2018. Each dark fibre service, each cell site will have a 15-year contract of service associated to it, and we're basically just under $1 billion of total contract revenue for the dark fibre supply. So I personally wanted to thank obviously Benoit and his team. This has been a year and a half, and obviously my own team and the TPG team for the amount of effort and design especially. And it's one of the most enjoyable partnerships and negotiations that I think both partners have been through. So that's basically up to myself. I thought I might hand over to Craig and have a bit more of a discussion around the MVNO.
Good morning. If you look at the MVNO, we are very excited, mainly because if you look at TPG's plans in the marketplace over the last 2 years, they haven't been as aggressive as we would like them to be. So this MVNO opportunity gives us the chance now to really take aggressive plans to the market. And most importantly, we're going to be moving our mobile business onto a prepaid IN, a real-time billing system, which is going to allow TPG to tightly control our whole mobile business and make sure that our customers, in terms of overusage and overcharges, are not exposed. So from that point of view, it's very encouraging, and Benoit's team has worked diligently, I'd say, to make sure the capabilities around the 4G infrastructure has been put in place. When you look at our existing customers, who our customer base at the moment, which we showed in our results, we have more than 320,000 mobile customers. We're going to be inviting our customers, giving them an invitation to move over to this new experience, to this new network. And the good thing about it is that our customers will not have to invest in a SIM card, and we are also going to give our customers a bonus opportunity or a bonus offer. So what that really means is that we are saying to the customer that we believe so much in this network and so much about the experience that you're going to have that we want you to use the service, try the service with no commitment. And if you're happy with the service, you can stay with that service. If you're not happy with the service, well then you can choose to do what you like, but we believe they'll be very happy with the service and that they're gonna move over. So we're gonna do it in batches. It's not gonna be this just big bang approach. There's a number of limitations within the industry in terms of how many can be ported exactly every day. We'll work with the industry body to make sure that we can get as much headroom to do the ports in an efficient manner. We also want to ensure that our call center can handle the volume, so we're going to be doing it in a batch process and take it that way. So we are excited, and moving into the future, what it gives TPG, it gives us the ability to keep up with the market. This mobile market moves very frequently, it moves often, and if you look at us in the last 2 years as being TPG, we haven't kept up with the pace as much as we'd like to have kept up. So this gives us the opportunity now, with some of the correct underlying cost of sale components, to be able to come out and be more aggressive in the marketplace and hopefully improve what has been a little bit of a declining mobile business. So once again, we look forward to it. We think that it's a very strong relationship. We've been working together on the negotiations. The negotiations has also been understanding each other's capabilities and what we can effectively achieve. And our systems people have also been working really hard to make sure that the infrastructure behind the scenes is in place, because what we want to make sure is that the customers have a good experience. We want to make sure that the people inside the call center have got the correct tools to service the customers. So we look forward to it. Thank you.
So thank you all very much for holding fire while we explained both of those deals to you. We'll now have an opportunity for some Q&A. If we could perhaps get Iñaki and David up on the stage, and if we could just turn the presentation off so we lose the light, that would be brilliant. Perfect. So, questions? First one here, Charlie.
So, Optus's 4G network runs different bands, 4G bands to the Vodafone 4G network. Thank you.
I think we know where your question is heading.
So Benoit's already starting to answer the question in his head already. Different 4G frequencies are used with Optus between Vodafone. So your customers, would like to purchase a phone around that is quite comfortably using the 4G bands on Optus. Have you any strategies in place for when they move those their service to Vodafone's network? The phone some phones may not pick up the new 4G bands. Do you have any strategies around what would happen in that case? How you will manage the customer experience along those lines to ensure comfort for the customer?
The answer is actually quite straightforward. The phones that have been in the market since Optus launched its 4G do also support the bands that Vodafone supports. Actually, amongst all 4G phones in the market, we have still today the best penetration with our combination of 850 megahertz and 1800. Approximately 85% of all phones do support that band, while if you look at the 700, it's a much lower percentage today, and all 700 phones also support the 850. So we don't see an issue from a phone compatibility point of view.
Next question, yes.
Richard Van Beek from Zay. Were the deals presented onshore in Australia completely, or did it involve negotiations with a home company, or just a London company?
No, this is a local agreement, purely local.
Yes.
Sorry, hi guys. Just following up from Richard's question again. David, have you flown to London anytime recently to talk mergers? If I could just put the same question I put to you the other week. It's not true, okay. And have you spoken to Vodafone at all about any mergers or acquisition activity?
Yeah, we're pretty keen to stick to the topic today. Next question, please, at the back.
It's Roger Samuel from CLSA. Just a question for Craig, perhaps. You mentioned that you're going to migrate the 320,000 mobile customers to Vodafone. What about the iNet mobile customers? I understand you have about 200,000 mobile subs in there, you're going to migrate them to Vodafone as well, you're going to stay with Optus?
This agreement that we've reached with Vodafone did not include the ARNet customer base. I mean, the timing of things and the way it rolled out, it's purely around the TPG consumer customer base.
But you will eventually do that? Or?
At this moment in time, it's about the TPG consumer base.
Next question. Yeah.
Scott Sherwood from Montgomery. Just wanted to ask regarding the dark fibre rollout. Will that fibre be able to be used for other customers, or will it solely be used for Vodafone mobile network?
The dark fibre pairs that we're rolling out to the antennas are 100% for use for Vodafone Australia. But obviously, when we're extending our infrastructure, there's a lot more fibre in the grid.
Hi, Alex Zaharov from iTWire and Comswire. How aggressive will the mobile data plans be? We see some pretty amazing deals out there at the moment. I mean, some of them are expensive, 25 gig a month from Telstra. Vodafone's already been making some moves to bring out 20 gig plans. But with over the next few years, mobile broadband's going to become even more demanded, and you'll have the dark fibre to support it. So how quickly will you really ramp up that competitive edge?
I think that talking about pricing is a little bit tricky because could be considered signaling. I can tell you that you've seen the evolution of data prices in the mobile data prices in the last year and a half, and I don't think that that's going to stop. That's the only thing I can tell you.
And we understand that TPG plans are going to be publicly available very shortly.
Yeah, it was actually this morning that we've taken the first steps. So under the new arrangement, plans powered by the Vodafone network are now live on the TPG website, and we've got 3 of our hero offers. And what's important to TPG is we've always had success in the sub $20 market. Today we released a plan for $19.99 that gives customers 1.3 gigs of data, and we're excited about the plan, and we think that it offers customers tremendous value in the marketplace from a no contract perspective, and it should be a good one for TPG.
Next question. Yeah, up the back. Oh, sorry, I've already got a mic, please.
Yeah, that's right. Raymond Tom from Goldman Sachs. Just had a couple of questions. Can you maybe talk about how the new deal impacts your current, I suppose, transmission agreements with current providers?
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and going forward, I suppose, how we should be thinking about your cost structure and so I suppose your ability to scale and provide more.
Let me talk first about the agreement, then I let Benoit can explain to you. But the agreement, we're going to honor all the existing agreements. So this is really looking forward for the future. But all the current agreements that we have in place, we have to honor. Benoit?
The way currently the market works when it comes to transmission agreements that we lease from third parties, it's a volume-based approach. So the more you transmit, the more you pay. What we're able to do with dark fiber is TPG will then provide the physical glass. We will ourselves light up that fiber with our own equipment. That actually decouples that relationship of more data for more cost. So we're looking at flatlining effectively our transmission costs while we can still transport more data. And dark fiber's capability, fiber in general, in terms of capabilities, is nearly unlimited.
And up the back.
This is Stuart Corner, freelance. Can you say what percentage of your base stations will be served by this fibre once the rollout's completed?
Yeah, so the current plan is to connect in the first phase approximately 3,000 sites, which is the majority of our sites. Our network continues to grow. We also have still microwave infrastructure that we want to migrate eventually. So this will be a multi-year rollout and eventually, hopefully, cover most of our network. But the first phase is 3,000 sites.
And what percentage is that of your network currently?
It's approximately 2/3 today.
Yeah.
Quick question about 4G again. There's a race to switch on 4G spectrum across Australia between the three telcos at the moment. I was on the Sunshine Coast last week. Telstra and Optus have 4G, but Vodafone doesn't. Is this deal going to push you to switch 4G on even faster in all of those sites that are currently only served by 3G bandwidth?
No, as such, this particular deal does not dictate our progress on 4G deployment. Sunshine Coast will be switched on in November. We will, in the next month, complete our 4G rollout to the entire network.
1 month, okay.
No, not 1 month, in the coming months.
Okay.
Yes.
So by coming months is in December, coming month?
Not too
long after, okay.
Not too long.
Brilliant, thank you.
Time for a couple more, yes.
The last few slides are always a bit of challenge.
Morning, Justin Newton from Citi. David, question for you. So the fibre rollout, at the end of the 3 years, will that have you now past all 121 boys?
No, this agreement is about the mobile cell sites of Vodafone.
Sorry, no, but David's building 4,000 kilometres of fibre, so I wondered if that...
It's a bit of a mix. We've gone on the record before that obviously we plan to be at all 121 points, which is very close. I think there's a final few where we don't have direct connected on our fibre today.
Time for a couple more. Yeah. I hope it's on topic.
David, if I could just ask, you've always said you want to control end-to-end the relationship between the consumer and all the way up to the US for broadband. So what does this do for your cost base? Is there any chance of you taking some control or ownership over this mobile service in a similar way that you do an IRU and submarine cable or something like that?
There's three parts to that question.
Yeah, I think this focus on what we do today is not fiber and MVNO.
And I think Craig touched before, it's that there are some of the key differences in the way that we offer our wholesale service from other providers, one of which is the real-time billing functionality, which does give TPG a lot more control over how it bills and how it notifies its customers, particularly with escalating data usage. One last question. Yes.
Hi, Chris Duggett from ZDNet. You've got 15 years for the dark fibre. What's the length of the agreement for the mobile customers?
It's a multi-year agreement.
I'm so glad you guys signed contracts with the window.
There are, of course, some areas that are commercially in confidence and that it's very unwise for us to announce publicly, and I think that falls into one of them. So thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate you coming along this morning. Thank you so much for your attention and questions. Thank you.